In an ancient time, when a terrible evil threatens the land, only one man can save the world.
Say what? Get out of here.
What? What's the meaning of this?
Oh, we'll just take off that broken record.
I say.
Here, hold my earrings while I take this monster down. I've got your back, darling. We just might burn down this town. Oh no, oh yeah. When you're up against a challenge and you need a helping hand, we've got an arsenal of fireballs, steel stilettos, and a cat. Oh yeah.
Welcome to Here Hold My Earrings. I am Al, your DM, and today we have Henrietta, Yvonne, Laura, Rebecca, Susan, and Yoni. Henrietta?
Hi, I'm Henriette. I'm from Norway, and I play a Kalashtar druid named Dalin. And I actually waved when you said my name. Like to a camera. Hello! Jesus Christ. I need some sleep.
We're all waving back at you, Henrietta.
Thank you.
Well, there you go. Immersion at its finest.
Yeah.
Yvonne?
Hi, I'm Yvonne from Canada, and I play Cracker, a half-orc barbarian.
I can always count on you to get us back onto the straight and narrow.
Yeah, if I remember who I am.
Yeah.
Well, exactly. Laura?
Hey, I'm Laura. I'm from Germany, and I'm playing Byleth, a Dragonborn wizard.
Rebecca?
Hi, I'm Rebecca. I'm shamefully also from Germany, and I play Orla, a human cleric.
Don't be ashamed of being. Maybe only because you came in last, I guess.
Yeah,
I mean, they're consistent.
we got
They're
used to
good.
it.
They have good cars and good football. I mean, how much more can you ask for? Susan?
Hi, my name is Susan. I'm from America, and I play Moxie Greycliff, a half-elf bard.
Okay. Yoni?
Hi, I'm Yoni. I play Mira, a half-elf necromancer. I was going to say bard. And I'm from Belgium.
Yay! All right. So, Susan, thank you very much for volunteering to start us off. And this week we're going to do something a little bit different because there was a bit of controversy last week over who did what, how we got to where we are. Everyone's going to have a little chance to weigh in with their perception, as Yvonne described it, of the events. Sort of a Agatha Christie type murder mystery.
Well, I guess I'll start. I guess I will
Yes.
start off. We decided that we were going to come to the lake here and attempt to rest and so Maliborn and Poops and Pool and others went swimming and whatnot, and then we decided we were all going to take a nap. While on watch, suddenly a unicorn popped out of nowhere, and Mira went ballistic, all screeching and whatnot and happy because it was a unicorn and ran after it. Unbeknownst to her, she scared the bejesus out of it, and it bit half her face off, which then put us all in combat. And so we finally beat up the unicorn, and then there's Poops and Pool. And then a little brain-like creature was looking for it. I guess, if I remember correctly, his name was Cerberus. And of course, it got upset because Cerberus was dead. And because I, unfortunately, was the last one to shoot the unicorn, it attacked me. And then we ended up killing it. And the little baby mind flayer came out. And while we were half dead, I will take full responsibility. I healed myself instead, and it went after Blue Bottom here. And
You've already forgotten his name.
Yep. Blue Bottle. Yeah. That's how crass I am. I just forgot his name after the mind flayer sucked his brain out, and Poops and Pool ran away.
Don't go blaming it on Poops and Pool? He did nothing wrong.
I just said, and Poops and Pool ran away. I didn't say anything else about the guy. He just ran away. I don't blame him. All the shenanigans that were going on, no, I don't blame him in the slightest. And then the baby mind flayer ran away. And here we are.
Okay, so I'll leave you for one session, and you lose 2 of our companions.
Not my fault. Mira started it.
One session.
Oh, come on.
You decided you wanted to go off and help the caravan. Not my fault.
Yvonne, I think you wanted to weigh in a little bit, didn't you?
Couple things to correct. There's one thing with the unicorn lover. But let's just say I'd rather have a brainless guide than a brainless cleric. Although, she's the one who lowered her head without even knowing what she was lowering her head to, and that's why I attacked. So she was pissed. I think she's still pissed about me attacking in the first place, but you don't just go, oh look, it's a unicorn, and lower your bloody head.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was a bit
Mhm.
naive.
And then be mad about it
Said
later.
the sweetest person ever.
Oh, it was just a little bit naive.
How can you be so naive?
Like, aw, bless her heart.
Was there any evidence that there was anything wrong with the unicorn other than, of course, you in combat, which arguably could have been started by somebody doing something, or arguably not?
Only
Yes,
after
there
we
was.
sliced
It was
open.
not a unicorn.
Bitter face.
Yeah, unicorns normally, unless they're attacked, I guess, bite people's faces off, but what do I know?
Yeah,
It
I mean,
was gray inside and it didn't have any blood. It was not a
Yeah.
unicorn.
I mean, didn't the mind flayer even say that it was just, turning into something he last saw? So
Yes.
it definitely wasn't a unicorn.
No. But Mira thought it was, so therefore she just jumped at it. Like, ooh, shiny!
You know she loves unicorns. What do you expect her to do?
Oh, I don't know. Considering what we've run into down here, take a little bit of caution.
Does that sound like Mira to you?
Well. Tomato, tomato. Potato, potato.
Very good. Well, I think that does cover most of the different perspectives. Did anybody else want to add their final
Does
2
it?
cents?
Rebecca.
Rebecca?
Yes. I mean, first of all, to give some context, Mira came back like completely different, telling us that she had been trained like in Silvery Moon because of the mold was getting so bad that she'd gotten some training, like a crash course in necromancy, which is suspicious.
I am rolling
And-
my eyes, by the way.
Okay. And then but we welcomed her back after we confirmed that it was her. And then yes, so there was a unicorn. Mira like ran towards it. It kind of tried to bite her face off, sorry. But so Ola went and tried to be like, okay, this could be a horse, like a really fancy horse. And so let's calm this horse down. And she actually managed to calm it down and not attack her. And she had it like eating out of her hand, and then Cracker attacked it.
But eating out of your hand. You bent over, you gave it your head, and then I attacked it.
Yes.
Seeing
It was
that
like,
this was going to go
sure.
badly.
And
Just
also-
show me your neck so that I can pierce it.
Also, at
Yeah.
some point, during the fight with the unicorn, Cracker actually went down and Orla healed her, so she can't complain. And later, I think that was the second or the third fight, both
Connected.
Cracker and so basically Orla I didn't even attack once. She just went around healing everyone. And then during the last fight, actually, we had multiple party members down, and Pierce, and then Roxy, who was still up, used the healing word on herself.
I took full responsibility for it. The Lynn can chastise me later when she gets back.
So that's it from my perspective.
And now for something completely different.
Very good. Yes, Delin is still technically with the caravan, although the caravan's supposed to catch up to you. You've been on the road for a few weeks, as we discussed, and you're outpacing the caravan. You are standing here over the body of Pierce Blue Bottle, not
I corrected myself to Bottle.
The top of his skull has literally been punctured and pulled open like an extremely aggressive oyster eater, and the brain organ itself is missing because it was slurped up. Maliborn has explained to you that this is what appeared to be a juvenile illithid, otherwise known colloquially as mind flayers. I think that those were his pets, that little cat-like creature that looks like a brain. And I remember that they've also experimented on many different races. Somebody told me that they even have some control over slimes and molds. Well, it looks like Pierce is gone. How are we going to get to this library without our guide?
Quick question. Did we get a long rest?
Yeah, you lost a party member, another one's dead, and all you're worried about is getting sleep?
Didn't
Yeah.
I think Malibon was like, let's go to sleep.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was.
Well,
You were like,
Maliborn
I'll
was
deal with
injured.
this later.
Everybody was injured. Yes, okay, fine. You've had a long rest. And we can even
Yay.
say that Delin
Ah.
has finally caught up to you, because you did spend a couple of days here already.
So if we get a long rest, I'd like to change some spells.
Sure.
I-
Laura Violet's got her portent going
Yes,
to
17
decent
and
rolls.
6.
Very good. And you can change your spells. Rebecca, Orla can change her spells.
Okay.
What do you want to change?
I'm getting rid of Bless, and I am taking Gentle Repose.
Make a sentence with the words door, barn, horse, bolted. You can post it if you want, just so everybody knows.
I'm gonna use it soon.
Yeah. Anybody else?
I'd like to change one spell. Prepare, like unprepare one and prepare another one.
Okay.
So not prepare does comprehend languages, and I'll prepare shield.
Okay. You've got that on Whisper to me, so but I think most of
yeah,
us
it's
know
still
what
from
shield
last
is.
time.
It's
Yeah.
okay. All right. Anybody else before Delin appears and
Takes us all
The-
out for
the rest
being.
the rest of you get chastised?
Yep.
Because
Like,
Oh
we
no,
haven't been-
mom's coming.
Yeah,
like we
exactly.
haven't been doing that to each other the entire time.
I know, right?
Well, there's a difference between siblings bickering and mom showing up.
Oh.
And look, there she is.
Oops. Didn't do it. Wasn't me.
What the hell happened here?
Ask the unicorn fiend.
What unicorn fiend? Where is it?
I was
Yeah,
referring.
there's no sign of it. All you see is a little bit of gray slime that trails off into the lake.
Mhm.
Not the lake, but this is a small pool of water that Pierce explained before he was essentially lobotomized. This is a pool of water that connects. Poops actually explained connects underwater to the Dark Lake, which is where his village is located, as well as a number of other locations that could lead to Aramikos, potentially Graven Hollow, even Gauntlgrim, and paths to Gracklstug, which is where the Duergar.
So, is he dead?
No.
Oh, he has no brain, so I'm going to make the general assumption that yes, he is dead.
Oh, I thought you meant the thing that attacked him.
She probably did.
Well,
Yeah, he ran like he said about he got his revenge by killing Pierce, and then he went away because if he hadn't, he could have killed all of us. Let's be honest.
Yep.
okay.
So we nearly all died. I thought we were dead.
Hi, Dylan. Huh?
You don't
What?
look like yourself, like, right?
Is anybody else hearing the song?
Yes.
Okay. I was
That's
so
Moxie's
confused.
guilty conscience.
You know what? I'm good. I told you. I take full responsibility.
Sorry,
I
what
didn't
did you
start it.
say?
Does Mira look like herself, or is she totally different?
She's wearing robes instead of her usual leather armor.
She's got a
and
pointy
she's-
hat, and she's waving a little stick around like she's some big shot now.
Wingardium Leviosa.
But she looks like herself. You haven't changed your appearance other than your clothes.
I mean, she just got half her face bitten off by a unicorn, but other than
True.
that, she's fine.
She had a long rest.
Healed up.
It only looks
Some
like
sleep.
there's a tiny chunk missing now from her face.
Okay. Where is the armor I bought for you?
You didn't buy any armor for me. You didn't buy any armor for me.
Wasn't it you that got the armor I paid for?
No, that's Moxie. You're confusing your half-elf bards. I mean, I would like some armor. If you're offering.
Well, I don't have any spare. I only have the one I want.
I would make a
Didn't we
sexual
have a
joke right now, but
spare-
I'm not going to do it.
Didn't we have spare leather armor? Because we bought 2, and I gave you my hand-downs. So we should have 3 in total, right?
And technically, Moxie's been stripping Maliborn the whole time under the so-called excuse that his armor was dirty and needed to be cleaned.
I can't help it. I've never seen such a sexy man before in my entire life.
He kind of looks like he's from Malta. Have you heard of that place?
No.
No.
Huh. So I guess that you had fun? Or?
It was a blast. So good.
Sure. If you want to call that fun.
So Byleth and I tried to find a pearl for you in the
Aw.
water, but we didn't because it was very muddy and I couldn't see anything. So, but
Mhm.
I got you this, and I'm holding out this jagged stone that's the size of a pearl, but it's most definitely not a pearl. This
Happy
is for
Mother's
you.
Day.
There you
I'm
go.
like smiling next to it. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm gonna pretend that I put it in my pocket and I'm just gonna drop it on the ground.
I would like to roll a perception check.
Moxie's standing right here. Moxie probably saw it. Oh my
Plink,
goodness.
plink, thunk.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, you dropped
I
it.
have-
Yeah,
I
she
have
dropped
pa-
it.
my passive perception is 16.
Yeah, you
Do I
definitely
see?
noticed that it fell on the ground next to her leg.
If I see
Aw.
that she noticed it, I'm just going, oh, sorry, dropped it. I'm going to pick it up and put it in my pocket.
And then drop it again.
No.
When my back is turned.
Yeah.
At some point, it's going to mysteriously fall through a hole in the bottom of her pocket.
Pretend to reach over your back and try to stick it into your backpack while you're still standing and it's still trapped to you, but then just actually throw it over your shoulder like you're getting rid of old food that you don't like, trying to feed it to the dog. Okay.
I mean, it might come in handy if you're measuring like depths or something. Mm-hmm. Well,
Of course.
it's better to have it than to not have it. Mm-hmm.
Byleth makes a valid point.
I mean,
I think so too.
Byleth's so far the only one who's accepted like gifts for me. So
Oh, I accepted
We're
it.
married
I
now.
just dropped it.
oh yeah,
Sorry.
that's true.
Yeah.
Ah, but I'm giving like Moxie the evil eye.
Don't look at me.
You didn't want my friendship ring.
I still don't trust you. She who doesn't want to let me do what I want to do. You specifically said it wouldn't let me do what I wanted it to do, what I wanted to do. So,
I
I
said
I
don't get
remember
yourself killed.
thinking that Delin was going to like smooth everything over and going to get the party back together, but
And how did you figure out that?
because you're like the responsible one.
apparently mom just doesn't care about her kids anymore and just is just like fine, whatever.
Aw. She only,
Well,
you
I'm
know,
kinda
she's
mad
like
at you.
obsessed with the pearl now.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of mad at you because you actually killed our guide. How the hell are we going to get to the Graven Hollow now?
But technically, we did
You
not
know
kill
what?
him.
I was gonna say we didn't kill him. The little
Mhm.
infant like Illithid did. Don't look at me.
Well-
I don't eat brains for breakfast.
To be fair, I think we totally got him killed, and I'm sorry. For like everyone.
Don't tell mom.
Speak for yourself.
We're so sorry. I'm gonna dedicate my life to finding a pearl now. As if
Didn't
I
you do
didn't-
that already?
Yeah. Gonna just try harder. Roll more natural 20s and then gonna have a pearl.
Suck up.
And I'm gonna get
See-
the pearl. Not you, Mira. Not you.
I mean,
Does he have a
go
map on
ahead.
his person? Anybody search the body?
I don't think we have yet.
No. Also,
No, we've
I like
kind of been taking a nap while he was laying there because we figured he isn't going anywhere.
well about that. I don't want him going anywhere. Because I mean, Malaborn, your companion, she could like make people like rise, like dead people rise, and then fight for them. And I don't want any of like our enemies to be able to do that. So I'd like to cast a little ritual, but for that I need 2 copper, and I don't have 2 copper. I think. Does anyone have 2 copper?
Oh my god.
The
Copper?
bank known as the Lynn stares at you.
It's just 2 copper.
Fine, here's 2 copper.
Okay. I'd like to do a ritual casting, but I'd like to involve everyone in the ritual.
Who are you
Is it-
going to
Okay.
sacrifice?
No, I'm not ritually sacrifice. I just I mean, I kind of just kneel down next to Pierce, and then I try to like maybe use his like hood to like hide the fact that he doesn't have a brain anymore. And
His eyes are literally just rolled up into the top of his head. You can barely see the bottom of the irises.
I'm gonna close his eyes and put the 2 copper pieces on top of his eyes, but I'm gonna like use some of the maybe lube from like that Byleth carries around to like stick them on there so they don't fall off. Because I don't want them to
Great.
fall off. And I'm gonna
Actually,
say
Mira is carrying it around. Is she going to give that to you?
I don't know, is she?
Sure. Call it a guilty conscience.
Yeah, just a tiny bit. And then I'm gonna say I'm never forgetting the first time we met. because you shot me with an arrow and I still have the scar. And then I'm going to say, smooth hands, please take care of this one. And I'm going to look at the next person to say something nice about Pierce. And that's the ritual.
Oh. Everybody else is just standing there, just looking at each other.
He had a great butt.
Thank you, Cracker.
And telepathically links everybody. He always let me know if he needed to relieve himself. And when you weren't looking, he would turn invisible and do it at my feet.
What? Didn't know that.
That's thoughtful.
TMI.
It was very tasty. Very
Oh!
nutritious.
That just means he probably had diabetes.
How do you know that?
What is this session?
What is diabetes?
Yeah, I think I'm a few centuries too early for that to know that. Sorry. Disregard.
I sense Poopsinpool hiding in the water. Shall I call him?
Yes,
Or
please.
did you want to continue your ritual?
I mean, I'm going to continue the ritual. It's going to take, I think, 10 minutes. So in those 10 minutes, please, everyone, just say something nice and not TMI.
I want to say.
Pierce? Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Pierce, you were a great companion and you were always by our sides, protecting us. Not at the start though, but I think we got along pretty well at the end and we will miss you. We're sorry that you had to die this way. And I'm gonna cry.
Oh. Put a hand on your shoulder.
Do dragonkin cry?
Well, Violet does.
Okay. And Byleth is a black dragonborn, right?
Mm-hmm.
So little drops of acid fall from her eyes, and wherever they land, you see the rest of you see little bits of hissing as they slowly burn through any organic material on the ground.
Kind of
Mira
cool.
is just going to take a step back.
Silas, you're damaging him even more. Stop it.
I'm sorry. I just get
She
so
did
emotional.
nothing wrong.
Little holes start appearing in Pierce's armor. It smells like cooked flesh.
Oh, no.
I feel like we should bottle this. Is that weird?
Are you suggesting we make our friend cry so that we get some poison?
No, but
or
she's
acid?
already crying, and now it's just going to waste.
Well, question: if he's only brain dead and not dead, are we going to leave him here, or is he dead?
Well, he has no brain, so he's dead.
So he's dead.
I mean, Moxie,
No
so
beating
do you and your
hearts, nothing.
so-
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
we kind of need
yeah.
the brain to breathe.
Not only is he dead, he's been dead for over 8 hours because you decided to take a long rest.
Okay. I'm gonna find not a large rock, but a semi-large rock, and I'm going to use my mold earth. And I am going to write in kind of gold letters, Pierce blue bottom.
See? I corrected myself. No getting mad at me now.
And I'm gonna
No
also
respect.
write, "You were a great guide," and just place it beside him.
Can't we send him back to Blingdenstone? Like, Dylan, can you like hail the carriage back or something?
I don't know.
Or maybe we could let them know where he is if they want to pick him up.
Didn't you get some kind of way to communicate with the caravan and the queen or something?
I think with the queen we have these like there were like these like winged things, right?
The little paper bats.
The paper bats, yeah. We could I
Maybe
mean
we
I'm
should search his body before we lay
Yeah.
him to rest.
For a map.
Well, I'd like to hear what Rebecca wanted to say.
no, I was just gonna say maybe we can bury him in case they don't come back for him, but maybe now you wrote down his names, but maybe we should also let him know where he is buried in case they want to dig him up and then bury him in Blinkmanstone. And he's not going to get super like decomposed in the next 10 days because of my ritual, so that's my suggestion.
Okay. Just a question. Didn't we? Do we really need him to show us the way? Do we think that we can find the path on our own, or do we need him? Because we did get a scroll from the priest guy. Raised dead.
No matter if we need him or not, we kind of can't get him back.
How long can they be dead for the raised dead spell? You should know. You're a cleric.
I've never been able to do the raise dead spell. Also, I think it's something healing him is gonna be super complicated because he's missing a vital organ. Yeah, sorry, I raised dead. Yeah, he's missing a body part, so I can't bring him back with raised dead. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'd need to be like super powerful, like almost like a god myself to create a new body for him.
Yes, this is absolutely correct. There are spells that can replace organs, but Raised Dead is not sufficiently powerful enough to do that. He would have to be reasonably intact. You could have gashes, cuts, piercings, but if you miss a major part of your body, it'll still be missing. And if it's one of those that is critical, then it won't work.
Unless we find like another brain for him, but I don't see that happening.
Is anyone familiar
Sponge
with the
reading everybody
creature?
telepathically decides to step back 3 paces.
Is anyone familiar with the creature that did this? Because I've never seen it before.
I only seen a chopped off head of it at a bar. No, it wasn't a bar. It was at the slave traders camp before we got to Blinkmanstone. They had a model or something of a mind flayer head.
Yeah, it was an actual skull.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
A desiccated skull, like a shrunken head.
That's some good food
Well
there.
done.
And
well done.
I do remember from my soldier days that they are dangerous, but that's about it. I don't know anything more about it.
Yeah, they brought down Cracker. Like you're like super easy to bring down. That was crazy.
Watch yourself.
I'm saying that as a compliment to you. Like normally you're like super tough, but this time
normally
feeling really complimented here.
I think you dig the grave because you're really good at digging yourself graves.
We are digging a grave right now.
A shovel?
One of the broken ones. The broken non-magical one sold by Tinker. Tonker the Tinker.
What about the loot he has on? Like he also had this robe of climate, I think. it would be nice to have. Maybe.
I mean, he's not going to use it, so
And he
Oh.
had some rope on him that was really good too. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, rope climbing, like
Rope climbing.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. Did he have some good armor?
Orla is what? Like, I mean, can I have 10 minutes past?
Yeah, it sounds like the rest of you are bickering over his loot. So,
Yeah.
Was there anybody that needed to do something before Orla finishes her ritual with Pierce specifically?
well, Mira didn't say anything, but is that necessary?
I mean, you please say something, Mira.
Pierce, I didn't really know you well, but R.I.P., buddy. That's it.
Can
You
I
like
look
what?
at Moxie?
What did you say? Yoni?
R.I.P., buddy.
Oh, R.I.P. I see. Sorry. I was still thinking of P from. Okay. Yes. Good. Sorry, you were saying something, Rebecca.
I'd like to. Orla is gonna look at Moxie, like expectantly. Are you gonna say something?
I mean, I didn't know the man very well. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but you kind of killed him. Okay, never mind. Not everyone has to say something.
Oh, but I had to say something.
Well, it was very nice that you said something. I said something. The other said something. It's very nice to say things. So I'm guessing I finished the ritual.
I mean, if nobody else is going to do anything before you finish the ritual. Okay.
Other than look at his body to see what he has.
Yeah. Okay, so while you're finishing the ritual, it's plenty of time for people to rummage through his pockets, maybe not take off all of his armor from his dead body, but certainly go through anything that's loose and easily accessible.
I
He has his weaponry. There's a bow. There are some arrows. He also has a crossbow, which also has crossbow bolts. So unusually, he actually has two ranged weapons. He has a short sword. He's got his leather armor. You, of course, find the rope of climbing that he has referred to in the past attached to the outside of his backpack, like a good ranger would have. He has your typical expected provisions in his backpack: food, dry rations, a bottle of water, a couple of different scrolls that, unless you want to open them, you don't necessarily know what they do. They're each scroll is in some sort of waxed covered leather like scroll case to protect it, presumably from moisture and damage. He also has a small pouch that hangs around his neck on a thong. It's a small
A
leather
what?
pouch.
Song.
A thong. A thong doesn't have to be underwear. The general word thong means just anything that is a leather strap. So that's where the dental
Okay.
floss underwear concept came from.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'd like-
I knew somebody was going to get confused by that, so I had that explanation ready at the ready.
Okay, I mean, I'd like to stop my companions if they're actually looking at what type of underwear he's wearing.
He is not wearing underwear.
Commando.
Yeah, well, he is basically a commando, right? If he were here, he would say, "I like to be free because it restricts my movement, and I need
he
to
was
be
called-
flexible."
I mean, he was called Blue Bottom and not Blue Ball, so.
He's rolling over in his grave.
To be fair, I shook my head the moment I said it.
And beyond that, he's traveling light. You know, he's on the road. He's not moving with you. He's expecting to go back to Blingdenstone. So he's basically on a very long journey, and he's got what he needs for a long journey. He doesn't have all of his worldly possessions with him necessarily. He does still have the little bracelet that you gave to him when you recovered it from what presumably was the corpse of the were-rat lycanthropic infested body of Crystal. And beyond that, just a couple of basic things like insignia for Blingdenstone, a small badge that shows that he's part of the Ranger Corps, but nothing else. The pouch itself is closed. If you want to open it, you can take a look inside. And of course, as I said, the scrolls are still sealed. You can open those as well.
Let's not take anything that we don't need, like the armband, and let's let him have that.
Mhm.
Only
Yes,
the
Mira
thing
would
we-
like to look at the scrolls.
Okay. There are 3 scrolls. One of them does appear to be some sort of a map. It's got for the most part, it is a jagged, uneven set of lines that seem consistent with the kind of natural forming underground cave systems and tunnels that you've been traversing for the most part. Occasionally, there are long strips that seem relatively straight, which those of you who have heard Pierce talk about the purple worms can infer may be some shortcuts that the Rangers have put together from some of the purple worm crossings. It leads to essentially the edge of the Dark Lake. And then across that, there is a dotted line that seems to disappear off into the distance, off the edge of the map on the side. The second scroll has what appears to be a bunch of gobbledygook to Mira, but some of you might recognize as something to do with magic.
Can I look over her shoulder?
Sure.
Can I read it?
So you cannot, but you suspect that maybe Delin can.
Nice. Delin.
Ellen!
Yes. What did you find?
I don't know. This looks like scribbles to me, but maybe it's something to you. I also don't know where my accent went.
It's okay. Trauma can do something to you.
Yeah.
I take a look at the scroll.
Okay. So you recognize this as a pass without trace scroll.
Ah. So he was cheating with his stealth.
Inside
Yeah,
it,
the
there's
wife?
actually there's a little scrap of paper that says that it was given to him by somebody else in Blingdenstone. In case those dumb surface dwellers can't keep their armor from clanking, use this.
I just look at Orla. This was because of you.
Okay.
This is why we can't have nice things.
I mean, I'm a bit loud. I admit that my clothes are a bit loud, but they protect me.
Like you mix vertical stripes and horizontal stripes and yellow, purple. What do you mean by loud?
Yeah, when I walk, it makes a bit of like a clinking noise.
Which Eurovision outfit were you wearing?
I'd actually have to have a look.
And the last scroll, again written in Gnomish, but with what appears to be a parallel. So the scroll is is a normal scroll width for a gnome, but it seems to be divided in halves, vertical halves. On the left-hand side, you've come to recognize as the Dwarven script that Gnomish is written in, for those of you who don't read Dwarvish or Gnomish. And on the right is something that appears to change as you stare at it. And as you hold it closer, it changes. And as you move it farther away, it changes until you find the right distance from your eyes. And suddenly everything becomes clear and it realigns. All the little symbols realign into what you recognize as surface common. And it looks as if it's a magical introduction letter from Queen Seni of Blingden Stone to whomever it may concern as the primary librarian of Graven Hollow, introducing both Pierce, the caravan from Blingden Stone, as well as your party, and asking them for succor, protection, and generally just a reasonably warm diplomatic welcome.
Interesting.
This is important.
Hmm.
Who is the most responsible here? Oh, sorry. Who is the most responsible here? Who can keep this with them?
Are you trying to start another argument?
I
Give it
just
to
know I'm
Mom.
not the most responsible person,
Yeah.
so I mean, I would
I'm
keep
just-
it, but
I'm just looking at Dylan. You're gonna run into unicorns again, and so no.
actually, I think I've had enough of unicorns. Yeah. Lynn, you want this?
Sure, I can take it. Okay.
Also, you should probably take the map, right?
What now?
I mean, the first scroll, it kind of looks like a map.
Oh, okay.
So you get all 3 scrolls.
Ooh, yay!
Nice.
It's like going to the airport with your mother and she keeps all of the passports.
Yeah.
Gum.
I want to look inside the pouch that he has.
Okay. So inside the pouch, there are a number of different little items. Your first sense is that this is a pouch of important keepsakes of some sort. One of them appears to be a tooth. You wouldn't necessarily know what kind of tooth it is unless you are familiar with it, but you could try to figure it out. Another one seems to be a coin. It is of a metal that you don't immediately recognize. It looks like it could be valuable. It's shiny. It looks a little bit like silver, but it's not one that you deal with regularly. It's not gold, and it's not copper, and it's not steel or anything that's an obvious metal to you. There's something that looks a bit like it looks like a little round stone, but it's got little shavings off of a number of sides of it and little inscriptions in Dwarvish on each of the shavings, so that it's not quite round, but it does kind of move, or would move if it was on a flat surface.
D20.
And then the last one is,
Sorry.
what's a D20?
Yeah, but it was just the thing that I imagined.
Yeah.
A dice. D20 dice.
Do you read Dwarvish?
No, but the shape of it. With the shavings.
Mira reads Dwarven. Mira reads Dwarven.
There
So
are
does
numbers on
Moxie.
it.
It's a D20. There are numbers on this. Which numbers are there?
You recognize them as going as high as from 1 to 20.
Sorry. Okay, so it's a D20.
What's a D20?
It's a die. It's a die with 20 sides, going from 1 to 20.
and he has a small ring in there.
With inscriptions or just plain?
It doesn't have any inscriptions, but it is also not plain.
What
Mhm.
does it have?
It glows a little bit
Oh.
with what could be phase rest.
Oh.
Ooh,
Ooh.
You see that?
And you'd
cool.
say it's a small ring? Like, is it
Yeah,
like for like
it's sized for, potentially one of his larger fingers. Like it could be a thumb or even a toe ring for him.
Are you going to be taking his jewelry?
I mean, Laura is the one who's inspecting it, so
Yeah, Laura,
It's just
well,
very
Violet
pretty.
has got it. Yeah.
yeah, Violet.
About
It,
the coin.
it could also
Um,
potentially fit into a nostril ring if you've got a hole that allows you to stick a whole ring into it, or
Oh,
one of those
that would be
piercings.
so cool.
Yeah,
Ooh.
you can really stretch it out.
Mhm.
I mean, Ola could probably give you piercings if you want.
Oh,
Ooh,
nice.
yes.
That sounds
I
good.
feel like Cracker could probably pierce anybody.
Oh yeah.
In any way.
No guarantee of the size of the hole.
Um, I would like to take the ring. And about the coin, is it a coin that can give you advantage because we have something like that, and so I could recognize it?
Well, I think it's fair to say that if it was an actual coin, a luck coin from the goddess Timora, you would
That's
recognize
what I
the
mean.
goddess Timora's symbol,
All right.
but it definitely does not look like the goddess Timora. In
Mhm.
fact, what it has is an image of what appears to be either minted coins are, it's hard to tell, right? They put a stamp on it. It's very rarely so clear, even with modern technology, just to be meta. Even with modern technology, it's not always very clear what a minted coin's image is. This,
Mm.
if you believe that this is a profile image on one side, the profile is not of a standard sort of humanoid face. It has a very long, protruding section that could be something that looks like it belongs on an animal, maybe. Um, it's a side profile. There is something that could be an eye, but it doesn't look anything like a standard human face, which from the side would look relatively flat.
Hmm.
And on the other
Weird.
side, it's hard to tell what it is unless you're very familiar with it, which none of you are. It looks a bit like a mountain, maybe, or it could be a structure, or it could just be a triangle. It's a little bit difficult to tell.
All right. So, if anybody else wants something, but
I
I
mean,
don't
he
know if
has
this.
boots.
Hmm.
He's got leather armor and trousers and things. He's.
Let's not take his dignity.
I think so too.
After
His
having
head
checked to see if
is
he was wearing underwear, I
literally
think that's too late now.
his
I don't
head was
think
literally torn.
I don't think any of that'll fit us anyway. So yeah.
Elf?
Mm-hmm.
Also, do we find any of the winged bats that he used to talk to the queen?
Yes, yes. In his backpack, he's got all the standard adventuring supplies, as I mentioned, which included all the things that he was given in order to, carry on with his mission. So there are half a dozen of these little paper folded things that look a bit like a bird or a bat, something with wings, which you understand is meant to be a communications device, and an associated pen or quill, I should say, and a pot of ink. It's not a real pot. It's more like a vial. It's just enough to literally dip something in, write a bunch of messages, and then that would be about it.
So I think one of us should write a message to Blingden Stone explaining what happened and explaining where they can find him.
But you also have your own. She gave you guys separate.
Oh,
So you guys have a half dozen, and he has his own supply. So you're welcome to take his. I'm just saying, you recognize it because you already have your own.
I mean, he's not going to use them anymore, so.
I mean, they were probably not sentimental to him, so I would agree that you taking them doesn't make that much of a difference right now. But let's have him keep his bow and his crossbow because he probably really loved them, right?
Yeah. Should we bury him or something?
Maybe in a shallow grave so that they can easily dig him up if they want to bring him to Blingden Stone.
5
So
feet?
he's going to. I mean, yeah. So he's going to stay. I mean, the way he is for 10 days, which I recognize is probably not enough to get here. But unless we wait here the 10 days and then I cast the ritual again, he is going to start to decompose, but it's only going to happen in 10 days. So maybe we got him a little bit of time.
Yeah, but I'm thinking that if we need a powerful spell that will regrow his brain, I don't think it matters if he's starting to decompose or not. I think this, if they're going to use that spell, that kind of spell, it's powerful enough that we don't need a fresh body.
Oh yes, I was just thinking of like the people who are going to find him, not finding him in a really bad
I
state.
understand, but we can't stay here for like 3 weeks for them to get here.
I know.
So
I know.
it was really nice of you. Nice thought.
Thank you. I mean, I wish I could like bring him back like whole, but I'm not powerful enough, and I think that's going to require a lot of really expensive materials as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to become that powerful so I can help our friends if something like that happened to one of you guys.
Well, then we need to keep going. Maybe we'll find something in the library to get us stronger.
Only
Let's
one
just
way to
bury
find out.
him and- yeah. I think we've said our goodbyes. I don't think we can do anything else for him, to be honest.
No.
Yeah, so we bury him like not too deep, and we have the sign that says his name, and then we should write like to Blingden Stone. Who has the best penmanship?
Cracker.
I don't know how to read or write.
That was hilarious.
I can draw a picture.
Pierce dead and draw a picture.
I can do it. I can do that.
No.
I mean, I can write it if you want me to.
Yeah, I'm not really good with words, to be honest.
Well, you
What
used to be a bard.
Emphasis on used to be. Speaking of bards, Moxie, do you have any idea of what to write for our fallen friend here?
Apologies, milady. Pierce will not be returning. He has gone into the afterlife.
I'll make something up.
Yeah.
Just tell her what happened and don't go into details. Just say that you were ambushed by a mind flayer at night, and unfortunately Pierce didn't survive. And he's located here. Sorry.
Yep. So Mira writes that down.
Okay.
And do I just send it? Like, how do you send that thing? Because I don't.
You literally write it and then you fold it back up again, and then all you have to do is just hold it between your you hold it delicately between your fingers, and then you just propel it gently ahead of you, and it naturally starts to take off. And before it falls to the ground, it starts flapping its wings, and it just flies slowly off into the distance, into the dark.
Okay, then Mira does that. If no one else wants to add anything.
Does Ivy think it's prey and start chasing after
Yes.
it? Roll an attack roll for Ivy. The only time a Find Familiar is going to get to attack.
Oh my god. I don't have the sheet.
Just roll a d20. What's a d20?
7. Attack.
Oh yeah, Ivy misses completely, and the paper bat gets away scot-free.
Her glasses break. She comes back very defeated.
Defeated, blind.
Mhm.
Dang it. There goes my lunch.
All right, shall we take a little break?
Yes.
Okay.
Sure.
Yvonne's like, please make it stop.
Yes.
Coffee.
Okay. Let's call it 7 minutes.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Bye.
Hi. We hope you're enjoying this episode, and if so, please like and subscribe. And remember, the next time your DM says, roll initiative, yell back,
Here.
Yeah, hold my earrings.
Here, my earrings.
This is good. I think we only need this take.
Yeah, so you guys have done a nice little ceremony for Pierce's remains, although it does say Pierce Blue Bottom on the headstone. And Poops and Pool, Sponge, taking a bit of initiative, sends out a message, and Poops and Pool surfaces. And before anybody gets a chance to hear him telepathically, he starts speaking in his native language out loud. And he's pointing and he's frantically waving, he's pointing, he's jumping up and down. You've never seen him so animated. Even when he gets scared, all he really does is sort of stand there, shiver, shake, and, obviously relieve himself. But this time he's just jumping up and down. And he's pointing at the space where the little mind flare had been before it telepathically blinked out to another plane of existence. He's pointing at the little corpse of the brain creature that's still laying there on the ground. And he's pointing at the spot with the bits of gray ooze laying there, trailing into the offshoot of the Dark Lake. Then you get the telepathic translation via Sponge. That was an illithid. They're absolutely the deadliest creatures ever. They're the reason why my whole race is insane. They literally performed experiments on us before the gods even existed and drove an entire race from the surface down to the Underdark and under the oceans because we could not stand the psychic battling and bereavement, and it was terrible. And oh my gods, it's horrible. Oh, is it coming back? And he's smacking himself on the head.
Mira is just staring dumbfounded.
I'd like to give him a hug.
He's running around in circles. He's so agitated he can't even be hugged. It's not that he doesn't want to be. He just literally can't be, it's like you
Can I
can't
try
control him.
Catch him?
Sure, yeah. Let's roll a grapple. He's
What
a bit
is that?
slippery.
Is it?
For you, it will be a strength check. For him, it's a choice of strength or dexterity to avoid it. You will have disadvantage because Poops and Pool is a bit slimy. He's covered in a bit of slime.
Oh yeah, let's just have the cleric roll a strength check with disadvantage. That's not wrong. That's a 6.
Yeah, he slips right through your fingers and your hands and your arms, leaving a trail of slime all the way from your fingertips all the way up your forearm, your midway through your bicep. And he runs around you, flops around a little bit, gets back up, and keeps running around.
Also, yeah,
I
I
want.
don't see my
Sorry.
token.
I do.
You don't see a token?
My token.
You don't see your token?
No.
I moved
I
everybody
see
around a
everybody's.
little bit.
Oh, now I see it. It was
Sorry.
on top of Shika.
Sorry about that. If you can't see your token still, let me know.
I can see it now.
Okay.
I want to use the silk rope for him. I'm gonna point at him and go, "Hachoo!"
Yeah, go ahead. You can roll. See, I've got to look up how it works again. Go ahead and just roll a d20 first. Let's see what happens.
5.
Yeah.
But it's a good rope.
I think it's actually a saving throw, so in which case that would be perfectly fine. Yes. Okay. So you throw it, and he rolls it. You rolled a 5 for poops. He immediately falls to the ground, completely wrapped up in this thing, and of course he's sort of flopping around like a fish. Flap, 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 splash, splash, splash. His feet are in the water, and he's still screaming telepathically and out loud. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
Can somebody shut him up, please?
I feel like Cracker would just pull out like a billy club and just whack him over the head now.
Well, I'm just waiting for it because he's kind of slimy and
I'll hug him while he's in the grapple from the rope.
Yeah.
I'm thinking if Sponge is communicating telepathically with Poops and Pool, is he also communicating? Like, can we communicate telepathically amongst each other?
Essentially through Sponge, yes.
Through Sponge? Okay, so I'm just gonna mind link to Sponge and say, would you just tell him that the guy's gone?
Sponge looks at you, turns, looks at Poops and Pool. His eyes glow briefly. Poops seems to understand. His eyes kind of, although they're glazed over and always open, he doesn't have eyelids. His features soften a little bit. He seems to relax a little. And then you just sort of see him lay there, just his gills are moving very quickly.
I'm stepping back as soon as I see him poop.
What?
Roll a dexterity save.
Do I?
Yeah.
Oh god.
Oh no!
Oh,
No, that was
Yeah, that's a nat 1. We don't normally have nat 1s, critical fails, but I think in this case, some of the fish poop got in your boot. Like actually on the inside, like choose a foot, left or right.
left.
Yeah, it's all squishy on the left side.
Ugh. You know what? I'm going to the lake to clean it.
Poops finally calms down as you're cleaning your foot and your boot. And he telepathically explains to Sponge, which is then passed on to the rest of you individually. Poops says that he recognizes where he is via the smell and the scent in the water while he was diving down there trying to escape. He thinks he can find his way to his village.
And why would we go to his village?
I think he wants to go home.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he wants to go home, but what he didn't explain to you is that although he doesn't know where the library is, the Illithids, as you may recall, he just said, dominated the Quotoa, which is what they call themselves, the fish race, fish people, many, many, many millennia ago, before the gods existed. And they know everything. They know where all the bodies are buried, and they know where everything is. and he believes that possibly their archpriest would know how to get to Graven Hollow.
And what are we waiting for? Let's go!
It's the archpriest of the fish people?
Yes, his
Lilith.
archpriest. Poops
Oh,
and
okay.
Poo's archpriest.
Okay.
I'll take the Bishop of the Mushrooms. Let's go.
Hey, wait, does this mean we're swimming?
Well, Poops looks back down into the water and says the only way he knows how to get there is through the currents because he can smell his way through the water.
You should have said that earlier when I woke up.
Does the map, Dylan, does the map like show where we're supposed to go? Is it like an easy journey now from here?
I look at the map.
So the map shows a number of caverns and twisting passages. They essentially lead to the Dark Lake. But then there's a dotted line that trails off the edge of the Dark Lake. So it's like the Dark Lake is on the edge of the map. This path that the map shows, it has a bunch of off branches, but it doesn't include all the tail off the off branches. It primarily just includes the main route that you're supposed to follow, presumably. It gets to the edge of the Dark Lake, and then you sort of got a, half of a blob of Dark Lake, and then the rest of it is missing.
Okay.
Presumably, Pierce was supposed to know what to do, or knew what he was supposed to do once it got to the Dark Lake.
It stops right about around here.
So we've got no choice but to follow and swim.
Guess so.
That sounds about right.
Poop says he doesn't have to go this way. He can leave here and rejoin his village on his own, although he'd prefer to stay in your company because despite all the dangers, it's still safer. He doesn't know this area. He only recognizes the scent. He can follow the smell of it, but he doesn't know his way around other than just following the smell, so he doesn't know what's ahead of him. But he's happy to walk on the surface if you guys don't want to swim underwater.
But Poops, you can show us how to go there on foot. You could also find the way on foot.
He doesn't know how to get there on foot. But if you have a map, then he's happy to follow you using the map.
Our map kind of stops here. Poops, sorry.
He only knows how to get to his village on the edge of the Dark Lake.
Do we have to breathe underwater to get there?
Yes.
I mean, I'm a pretty good swimmer, but
Didn't we get a scroll?
I was gonna ask the same question. I thought we had something for underwater breathing or whatnot.
I don't think so. Let me check the bag of holding. I can do it, but I didn't prepare it.
You do have a scroll.
Yes, I thought so.
You were given one. Yeah.
For all of
Well
us,
done.
I think.
Well, there's one scroll, and the scroll allows, I believe, the spell allows up to 10 people.
nice.
Okay, do we want to swim or do we want to try and find a way around? But
Let's swim.
this lake, or is this the Black Lake where we are now, or is this just a little lake? A pond?
This is it's an underground. You're underground, right? You're under the surface, several miles, and a lot of these caves were carved out by water, and a lot of them are still connected by water. And this is one of those pools that is connected by water to the Dark Lake, which is how he's able to smell his way to the Dark Lake and to his home.
Yeah, so we are not at the shore of the Dark Lake now.
This is not technically the Dark Lake.
Okay.
The Dark Lake he describes it as, Poops has got a limited range of experience. He only knows the Underdark and primarily the Dark Lake, but he describes it as cavern filled with water so far that you cannot see the edge of it. And you've heard it described as a major waterway with several civilizations either on the shores or near it. So it's not, you know, it's not necessarily a sea, but it's far more than just a lake.
Poops and
Poops,
poo.
are there any
Yeah.
dangerous creatures
I was
inside like this water?
I was just going to ask that.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Well,
Great minds
as
think
soon
alike.
as you say that, his knees start knocking and he starts pooping and he shakes his head
Ugh.
vigorously, which he can only do a little bit because, he's still basically restrained. He also sends out a message. Are you going to untie me now?
Yeah,
So,
I do.
so no
Achoo.
dangerous things?
And it unwraps.
Gonna take
That's
it.
very dangerous. Yeah, he doesn't know what's ahead. He has no idea. I mean, he knows that the Underdark itself is full of dangers, and the village has its own defense mechanisms to keep away the dangers, including sending out those who have suffered from too much insanity and exiling them from the village. But rather than killing them or sacrificing them to their gods, which is what they normally do to others, they would send those people out and then let them act as a first defensive screen for the village by running interference, attacking those who come too close, who are not part of their clan, their little school. So from
Hold
his
on.
perspective, it's so dangerous that they have to have outer pickets as well as their own patrols for security, and they've got a whole militia amongst their villagers.
Hold on, Poops and Poo, why did you leave your village?
Oh, he was a slave. He was captured. We bought him free.
So it was not because of insanity.
Well, I don't know, but
He,
Are you
he,
sure about that?
he suddenly starts looking around at the cavern ceiling and then at the ground and at the water and back at the ground.
Poops
Well,
and
that should be-
Poo?
translate sponge.
Translation?
Sponge looks at him and then looks at the rest of you and says, I can't understand it. I think he's saying he's not crazy enough, or he's too crazy. I don't know. It seems like it's almost like he's got this idea that he didn't fit in anymore.
So he left.
Okay, so he's crazy.
He says that Poops and Pool showed an image briefly, almost as if he didn't mean to, where he was being pushed out by a bunch of other people that looked like him, and they all had spears or pointy things pointed at him.
Oh my god. We're following a crazy creature called Poops and Poo. We're going to die.
I was
The-
thinking poor Poops and Pool. Like, are we really going to subject him to those people again?
Yeah, that's the question.
That's true.
Do you really want to go back?
Your thoughts really.
He looks at all of you and says, and Sponge says something along the lines of, I'm not. We Myconids. Well, I'm not sure what it is he showed me. And he shows you an image of what appears to be these writhing bodies in the water and a whole bunch of bizarre colors in the water and foam in the water, and then a lot of them just sort of laying on top of the water. It doesn't
Ooh, a
look
pool
good,
party.
but he seems very excited about it in a happy way. I think he needs to go back.
Well, as long as he's happy.
Hmm. And it's good for us, because of
No one else is
the library.
no one else is concerned that we're following a crazy creature.
We are
Nope.
followers.
Yeah.
It's also nice if we bring him back because I feel like our companions end up dead. So
Yeah.
I agree. And we don't have a better plan. So this will do.
But I'm just thinking that fighting in water, if we are to encounter something bad, it's not the easiest thing to do.
True.
So I don't know if
I
we should
could
try and go around and try and get to the Black Lake on foot.
Which is faster.
Well, swimming is not easy, even if we can breathe underwater.
Not a way we can maybe go for a little ways on the water, underwater, and then we come up and walk along the side while he's in the water. I don't know.
Yeah, just kind of try and follow the shore on this pond and see if there are any kind of rivers or something that leads to it and make him pop down and smell a bit from time to time.
So just to be clear, you're in a tunnel system. The map shows that the tunnel system is essentially just a bunch of naturally occurring caves and carve-outs by water or something else, maybe lava, occasionally intersected by relatively straight, sometimes curving, but relatively straight single tunnels that are uniformly wide in diameter, consistent with a purple worm. It's not like you're following the edge of a lake yet. And what Poops has described to you and what Pierce described to everybody besides Delin before she arrived was that this was a naturally occurring pool of water that is fed underground from other parts of the same body of water that essentially consists of the Dark Lake.
So Pierce didn't tell you where you were supposed to go next.
oh
This is where this is a good watering spot and a good and relatively safe place, supposedly. Large enough, and it's got a large cavern, but it's also somewhat defensible because it's only got a couple of access points. It's supposed to be good enough for the caravan to meet you here, which is why you showed up, and the caravan is, just behind you. But don't forget the caravan itself has dozens of humanoids in it and animals that are pulling various vehicles. So it requires a certain amount of general logistics management, including watering and food.
sounds like we gotta dive.
Yeah, I guess so.
Sounds like we need to stay on the surface though, because if they're following our route, because we're going ahead, scouting the route.
Yeah, we were supposed to clear the way for the caravan.
Yeah.
True.
I mean, if going underwater is the fastest way, then I say that's the way we go.
Poops says that he thinks he can get to the edge of the Dark Lake within less than a day. But on the map, based on the distance you've traveled so far from Lingdenstone, the map doesn't have a scale on it, but based on the map distance along the route that you followed, it would take you several days to get to the Dark Lake.
On foot.
Yeah, so it's one of these situations where the tunnels have been carved out by a whole number of environmental, fauna related factors or catalysts. In this particular case, if this wasn't submerged, this would be the fastest direct route for sure.
Okay, but if you're going underwater, we have to be there within 24 hours. We can get some air because the spell only lasts for 24 hours. And I don't want to be stuck underwater when that spell goes out.
Yeah, means we also can't rest underwater, so we have to.
And does that mean we
Uh,
abandon the caravan?
I think we need to kind of, I don't know.
I think maybe if we get to the library and then give them the letter that we just got off Rest in Peace guide, maybe they'll send an envoy to the caravan to guide them to the library.
Do we know if
We
there are
send a little.
people
Oh,
there
sorry.
in the library, except from maybe a librarian? Are there any other people there? Do we know?
DM, do we know?
Might be empty.
Oh, you're asking me? I don't know. I've never been there. Uh,
I don't think
so
it's like a city.
technically, so just to be clear, as long as you can breathe, you should be able to take a long rest underwater.
Yeah, but if it
Yeah.
takes a day to get there, that does
Right. I'm just saying.
include
So if you have the water breathing spell, you could also prepare it.
True.
I'm just giving you a little bit of meta help here. As far as the library is concerned, I don't remember if you asked the question of whether or not there are other people there and who's there and how many people there are.
I don't think we have asked that.
I mean, it is a library. There was the other fellow you met, Xiao Zhu, who is a wizard from Shoulong, the eastern portion of the larger continent upon which includes Faerun, which is the western part that you're in. And he said he was there, so you know that other people do pass through it. And this is a caravan of humanoids going to the library, with the understanding that at least some people know how to get there. So whether or not there's anybody there at the moment, you don't necessarily know that, and you didn't ask any specific details, but it's not an unreasonable expectation that the library itself might have somebody else there. And of course, there's a letter of introduction. So, I mean,
Yeah, and so there should be someone on the thing that knows how to get there on the carriage.
Yeah, on the caravan. Should be.
Yes, the people leading the caravan know how to get there. Your job was primarily to clear the path, but also you wanted to get there faster. You didn't want to go with the caravan and have to defend them. So, here's your chance. He's dead.
AKA just take the water.
We're out. Good luck.
Can we send them a message? Can someone send them a message what we're gonna do and just sort of like let them know at least?
Can we like
sure.
draw it with stones or something here? Just like put a message here because they know how to get
send
here,
it.
right?
Send a
I mean, we
paperback.
still have the bird bats thing. Yeah.
Yeah, you now have 11 of these things, including the 6 you took off of Pierce, and minus the one you used.
Yeah, I'm just thinking if they're going to go here anyway, is this on the way? Like,
I mean, this is a watering hole, so I suspect it is.
I'm just saying we leave a letter, a non-magical letter here, and preserve the magical letters.
So some weird creature can come along and eat it? No, I want to send it back.
Mira looks at the owl.
Yeah, Byleth, can you hold Ivy while we send it?
I'm holding her.
Ivy like slightly bites at your fingertips.
Yeah. Very
Let
eager
me
to
go,
You get a
you
fly.
telepathic
stupid
message.
human.
Just because I'm magical doesn't mean I don't feel hunger.
I'm sorry.
Feed me.
I'm going to cast light, maybe on something like dangling around like Byleth and be like, here, that's some magical light. Maybe you can do photosynthesis.
What's photosynthesis? All these
That sounds
weird
so
terms. You
smart.
guys, yes.
I've never heard of it.
Diabetes, D20. What are all these things?
Don't look
We
at
are the
me. I have no
Shakespeare of our
idea.
time.
Yeah.
Okay, should we just send them a message and then go the
Yeah, just
wet way?
Yeah.
let's just send them like, hey, got to the watering hole. Good luck. Bye.
Pierce is dead.
How about
Oh
Pierce,
yes.
Pierce died.
P.S.
yeah,
He's under
Pierce
a rock.
died. We let the queen know.
We lost our guide.
'Cause
We need to follow another guide.
P.P.S. We already looted the body, so don't bother.
Yeah.
do not write that.
Nice. How to win friends and influence people in the Underdark.
I mean,
Be
Malagorn, he
ruthless.
would be pretty like he would respect it, like if someone said that, but right?
Maliborn just looks down at his feet shyly. His nipples are slightly cold and stiff in the damp air from the water.
Is there anything you would like to say, Malagorn?
About what?
I don't know. It looks like you're thinking about something.
We men are always taught to be seen but not heard unless we're casting spells.
That sounds wrong. Be your own person. You are Malagorn. What do you like to do?
Whatever you like.
No. What do you like?
What do you like?
I feel like we're talking in circles.
I like that.
Mira shakes her head and walks away.
He kind of looks at you, shrugs his shoulders, and then looks back down at his feet again. Does anybody want a back rub?
I think I'm going to give one of the leather armors to Maliborn. Since we're going to most likely get in trouble. Here's some armor
Please, somebody clothe him because it's really
to...
distracting.
Yeah. Protect you better. And someone didn't need this armor anymore, and I just bought it, so here you go.
You didn't buy it for me.
But I think you got it because Moxie already had some.
No, that
But
she had it from me.
I got my own armor, didn't I?
No, I don't think so. But it doesn't matter. You can have this one. And I give him the leather armor.
I'm sorry if I made you buy armor, which I didn't make you buy.
I think there's a misunderstanding. You bought 2 armors for yourself and for Moxie, but then I found another better armor and I gave my leather armor to Moxie, so that's how we got a spare. Nothing to do with Mira.
No, but I
See?
think Mira got one from me because she didn't have any.
No, I did. I brought my own armor. I'm a woman who can stand on my own 2 feet. I brought my own armor.
Okay, sorry. Let's just get him clothed and let's go.
So Maliborn, ordered to put on this extra armor, puts on the armor that was obviously made for somebody with a mammalian with mammalian reproductive organs. And he looks even more androgynous or even more effeminate than he did before. And he whispers under his breath, "Why didn't they just give me back my own armor?" Oh, well.
Well, we didn't bring that, I think. It's not in my inventory and it's not in the bag of holding.
It's
Moxie,
so
you
tight in the
addressed him.
waist, and it's making my boobs look huge. It's
I mean,
so weird.
do you like that?
If you like it.
Oh my god.
Let's just go. I go to the shore and pull out the scroll.
Wait, before we go in, Moxie, Mira, come closer.
Moxie kind of looks at you tentatively, like,
I
why?
don't know what's going to happen either. I'm kind of
Mira is
curious.
doing the same thing because I remember I yelled at you last time. So
Okay, actually, no, actually, I think you're close enough. So that's great.
Mira takes a step back.
Just close enough.
It wasn't me, I swear.
I'm casting 8 on me,
Okay.
Moxie, and Mira.
So it does include a somatic component, which means you have to use your hands. Do you do anything specific with your hands? Do you slap them in the forehead?
Well, I don't have to touch them. Um,
You don't
I
have
give
to.
I give them each like a finger guns.
Mira falls on the ground and pretends to die.
Okay.
All right, you both feel like you have been invigorated. You sense that you are a little bit more protected than you were through the divine magics of your party member and cleric.
Thanks.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I thought that was nice.
Nice. Oh,
Question: Can I swim with my shield out, or will I have to put it on my
Ooh.
backpack?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I could use it like as a giant like thing to like get the water away from me. Also, I'm realizing I'm making swimming motions and no one can see me.
Immersion.
But
I love it.
if I just like put it next to my arm and then use it to really push the water away, I should be able to swim even faster, right?
Yeah. I mean, have you ever actually worn a shield?
No, but I'm also really bad at swimming in real life, so
Okay. I mean, a real shield is, it's extremely bulky, and it's. I wouldn't say it would help you to swim. If you want to swim without a swim speed, which is to say, some of you can turn into things that have a swim speed, some of you cannot. Then you probably would need to have all your arms and legs free. You could be towed by somebody else.
hint, hint, hint.
I'm just
I'll-
saying, if you wanted to be towed by Poops and Pool, he can certainly tow you.
yeah,
And
let's
you can also put yourself in a position where you are. I mean, I'll help you out here. If you really wanted to, you could turn the shield upside down. Presumably yours is one of those heater shields, so it's kind of like your traditional shield device that typically think of when they think of a shield or a family crest or something. It's not a tower shield, which is basically a long curved rectangle. So yours is one of those that's like on one half of it, it basically looks like a square. The bottom half looks like it's curved into a point. So you could potentially just turn that upside down and sort of surf on it.
but then it wouldn't protect me, right?
Well, it'd protect your bottom, your underside.
Oh, true.
Don't forget, this is swimming, so now it's a 3-dimensional vertical environment.
Oh fuck. I mean, yeah. If I would keep hold of it so I could quickly like use it to like point
Sure.
where I need it. So yeah, sure. I'll do that. I'll be towed. I don't want to have to swim. I feel
Okay.
like Ola's probably not the most experienced swimmer.
Whatever you say. I mean, I'm assuming all of you can swim. You don't need I think the hardest part about swimming is the breathing, personally.
Mhm.
Learning how to breathe and swim at the same time is challenging for those who haven't done it very well or done it enough. Since breathing isn't a problem for you, it's really just trying to master the basic motions. Unless you had extremely low dexterity, I don't see any reason why you should be penalized any further than you normally would be according to the rules for swimming when you don't have a swim speed. So, just to be clear, no swim speed equals rough terrain for movement, disadvantage on most attacks. Because you breathe water, spell casting is not affected. If you do start to stop breathing, if you do cease to breathe water, you can hold your breath, assuming you had a chance to do so, like you weren't immediately knocked unconscious. You can hold your breath for a number of minutes equal to 1 plus your constitution modifier with a minimum of 30 seconds. So anybody with less than 10 constitution, which none of you have, you could hold your breath for at least 30 seconds. For those of you who have a constitution of 10 or more, it's 1 minute plus another number of minutes equal to your modifier. So Cracker is going to be able to hold her breath for, I don't know, what is it, 4 or 5 minutes, which is a lot of rounds of combat. Once you run out of air from holding your breath, you can take a number of rounds equal to just your constitution modifier, minimum of 1. That is the period during which you are actually drowning. Once you hit 0 there, you are dead. Rolling death saves. And you cannot be stabilized unless you can breathe.
But we have the water breathing school, right?
Exactly.
Mhm.
Does it stop working when you fall unconscious?
Nope. It keeps going if you're unconscious. It just means that if for some reason, this is not applicable if you have water breathing, but if for some reason you fell into the water or you were dragged into the water and you ran out of hit points because you were drowning or you were injured, you cannot hold your breath anymore when you're unconscious, just like in real life. And if somebody were to stabilize you while you were able to breathe on land, breathing air, they cannot do the same thing. They can't roll a medicine check. They can't use some spells that stabilize people. You would basically just keep rolling death saves until you died, and you wouldn't be able to be revived until you were out of the water and could breathe naturally again. This would also apply to magical spells. So most of the healing spells that you have access to, such as Raise Dead via the scroll, would not be sufficient to bring you back to life if you could not breathe and you were still underwater. Okay?
Okay.
The few exceptions to combat underwater include melee piercing weapons, such as daggers, tridents. Obviously, none of you have tridents. Spears, anything else that reasonably could be a piercing weapon. If you want to argue that you've got a weapon that's a slashing weapon, for example, Cracker's battle axe, you want to try to use it as a piercing weapon, I'll allow you to do it as a makeshift weapon. According to those rules, you get whatever magical bonuses naturally come with it, but you will do damage equivalent to sort of an improvised weapon attack as opposed to the standard weapon attack that you would get from that particular weapon type. If you have a ranged weapon, with the exception of certain types of, again, slightly piercing or piercing type thrown weapons like spears, axes, crossbows, that also will be reduced in terms of damage and disadvantage. And you also will not be able to shoot beyond the normal non-disadvantage range. So all the ranged weapons typically have short range, which is your normal range. And then you could, in theory, attack with disadvantage past that sort of an extended range. But you can't, it'll automatically fail when you're underwater for the extended range. Not really relevant for most of you, but just so you know. But this does not affect spells. The spells are limited by their range as part of the spell. They don't work beyond that range anyway, so it won't affect your ranged attack spells, such as Magical Missile or Chromatic Orb or something. As long as you can speak, you can cast any spells with a verbal component. You can still cast a spell once if you are drowning, but you're still holding your breath. But after that, you'll start drowning. So if you're holding your breath and you're on minute 1, you have another, say, 2 minutes of breath, but you want to cast a spell. You're not water breathing now. You want to hold. You don't want to hold your breath anymore because you want to save the party. You want to do whatever it is you need to try to, save everybody. You can cast your spell by expelling your breath, but once you do that, you're no longer able to hold your breath. You would then move into the drowning phase of the calculation we discussed earlier. Okay.
Mhm.
And the last benefit is, of course, if you're underwater and you're attacked by fire or you do damage via fire, whoever is receiving damage gets resistance.
Cool.
So no, Byleth
Noted,
can't
no
cast
fireballs
Fireball,
underwater.
yes. Well, you
Mhm.
can cast Fireball. It just
Yeah.
doesn't do as much damage, which makes sense. Sorry, Rebecca, you had a question.
Yeah, that was my question about the fire.
Okay, now just to be clear again, that is damage type fire. Some spells read in the descriptor for color, right, as a kind of fire or energy that looks like fire or manifests like it seems like fire. But if the energy is divine, that's not fire. If the energy is necrotic, it's not fire. If it's lightning damage, it's not fire. There's no bonus or boost to lightning damage or thunder damage, which would be percussion, which in real life would be the case. In this case, the rules don't have anything. It's just resistance to fire damage. Everything else is normal.
Okay.
All right.
Mhm.
Cool. Who wants to go swimming?
Could I could I cast Find Familiar first and do an octopus, or cast an octopus, and everybody can sleep and be
Okay.
mad at me?
Yeah. So you're casting ritually, which
Yes.
means an hour. Everybody can take a short rest, which nobody really needs, I don't think, since
No, I just
you
took
took a long
short
rest
a
already.
long rest.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, so you guys take your short rest. You send off your paper bats. You've rummaged through Pierce's belongings and taken everything except his badges and his little crystal related bracelet, and his weapons and armor, I guess. Right? You didn't take any of his weapons and armor.
No.
Mm-mm.
Okay. And there's Poops, is explaining to you that he doesn't really know where he needs to go, but he can tell from the strength of the smell that you're close enough to the Dark Lake itself that he can get you to the Dark Lake definitely within a day. Once you're at the Dark Lake, he's still not entirely sure how far it is to the village, but he thinks it's not that far. And it may be once you get to the Dark Lake itself, you can surface and even walk the rest of the distance if you prefer. He also says that it's possible, because he's not sure himself, that just like in this particular cavern, there may be other caverns along the path that he would swim through, where he can, where he's got the scent through the water to the Dark Lake, that there may be other caverns that have more space above the water line so that there may be breathable air or even possibly land that you could rest on or come out of if you come out to explore if you want to do so. But he can't guarantee that. He doesn't know this area and he's never been down here before.
Byleth, do you need your
Yes.
spell book while ritual casting?
Do I?
Yes,
I mean,
as a
probably.
wizard,
Yeah.
you need your spell book while you're casting a ritual without using a spell slot.
Okay, I could try.
You can try what?
I thought, like, if we're waiting here an hour, I might as well look if she has any, like, necromantic spells I could copy.
Oh, yeah, she'll be using the spell book while you're doing whatever you're doing. So you can't both be using the spell book at the same time. But you can pretty much copy some spells anytime you take a long rest, within reason. If you're trying to do there is an actual mechanic to copying spells. It's I think it's an hour or 2 hours,
2
depending on
hours. Yeah.
2 hours. If you're an expert, if that's your school, then it's half.
Yeah.
But if it's 2 hours and it's a level 1 spell, you could probably do one level 1 spell per long rest without interfering with the campaign. If you want to do
Okay.
more than that, you probably we'd have to allocate it, and it may not make a difference other than you guys, get a later start to the day. It may increase the probability that something happens, but you already spent presumably 8 hours in the same location. So, I don't do random encounters because I find that's a little bit unusual. It's first of all, it's random, but not in a good way, right? Secondly, just so you know, there is all kinds of stuff going on. And what is a random encounter is already pre-planned anyway, right? They just give you a list to choose from where you can roll. I may as well just give you the actual encounter. So, but of course, it'll increase your chances of running into something running into you while you're stationary. While you're moving, you might run into something else, or they could run into you. So it's a bit like, are you going to get less wet if you walk in the rain or run through it? I don't know. Depends.
Okay. Then, I'll keep it in mind for the next time we take a long rest.
Okay. Cool.
Thank you.
All right. So, sorry, I wasn't really, I didn't mean to be really rude there, Laura. I was just joking. So you want to cast Find Familiar and turn Ivy into an octopus?
Yes.
All right. And you're going to pay the 10 gold?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Ivy just looks at you and rolls her eyes. Bloop.
Sorry.
And eventually she comes back in the water, presumably, or maybe not. She's on land and she's just like,
Gonna put her in the water.
she swims around and squirts ink in your direction.
No, I thought you liked me.
Nah. But then she
Times
finds
have
herself
changed.
a fish and she eats it and she's happy.
Yay.
Okay. So, anything else for anybody else?
No.
No.
All right. Delin, it's your show.
Okay. Everybody ready?
No.
Well, you have to be. I'm start casting.
You have no choice. Here we go.
Now you can breathe on the
The
water.
The bus is leaving the museum, and if you're not on it at 3:00, you're getting home on your own.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And just as a reminder, again, the way the rules work, and I think it's fine. It's not realistic, but we're talking about a game with all kinds of crazy magic. Any spell that is usable by any group of classes, if it's a spell scroll, regardless of who created it, can be used by anybody who can naturally cast that spell. So technically, Delin is using this spell because she's a druid and druids have access to water breathing, but so do sorcerers and wizards, for example. So Byleth and now also Mira could also potentially cast the spell. Although if you're trying to cast a spell higher level, there's some rules around that sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
All right. None of you feel any different. But as soon as you step into the water and stick your head under it, it's just like breathing air. At the first moment, it's kind of a little shocking because, there is actual physical water going into your lungs. And then suddenly the next thing you know, you're just oxygenating the water, you're spitting it back out, and it takes a couple of seconds to get used to it, but then you do, and you're all set.
Yeah, I'm tying myself to poops and pools on my shield.
Okay. Poops and Pool just looks at you and goes, and then he slowly trudges into the water. His body language is just dejected and defeated. And he pulls on you. You're still standing in the water, so he's like pulling on you like.
I try to float in there, so I try to sit on the shield and stand.
As soon as you get on the shield, you immediately drop to the bottom. Plunk. And he keeps dragging you as he's walking deeper and deeper into the water. And he's just complaining. Sponge,
Can I understand
Sponge,
him now that we're underwater?
you don't speak his language, but Sponge continues to translate and says, Poop says the least you could have done is walk into the deep end. While you're literally under like half a meter of water, just laying on the sandy bottom as he's slowly dragging you into the water.
I'm sorry, I didn't think of that, Poops and Pool.
He just turns back and gives you one dead fish-eyed stare. Eventually, he struggles and pulls you into the water, and you get telepathic complaints from Sponge to everybody. Thanks for the help.
It looked like you had it covered.
You swim for what seems like forever. Poops and Pool. Where is Orla? There we go. Poops and Pool is in front because, of course, he has to be. The rest of you, I guess I should have changed Ivy to a squid. I am so sorry. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Wow. Listen to that. She said.
Owen Wilson, is that you?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
That sounded pretty good.
Yay! Very nice.
All
Thank
right.
you. Thank you.
Okay. There you go. There's Ivy.
Mhm.
And yeah, Sponge, Shrieker's still with Sponge. Maliborn, of course. Maliborn's like, now they put the armor on me when I'm about to start swimming.
His glistening body would be too distracting.
Yeah. Well, you're underwater now, so it's not really glistening anymore, but underwater under the ground. But can you all see?
Yes.
Yes.
Good. All right. The DM did something right. Everything okay there? Somebody sounds like somebody playing the bongos.
Not it.
Yeah, Susan. Okay. Oh, you weren't supposed to see the whole map. Oh well.
Oh, I
I'm
haven't
zoomed in.
zoomed out yet, so
We saw nothing.
there's no
There's
war
noth-
in Ba Sing Se.
There's nothing to see. Okay, so Poops has got an idea to keep going, and then eventually he thinks there's like a whirlpool somewhere up ahead, and he's going to be able to get us through. As you are swimming, he suddenly stops, and he goes vertical instead of swimming horizontal to the ground. At the same time, my Roll20 died. Sorry.
Sure, blame it on the inanimate computer program.
I could blame it on you, Susan, if you prefer.
What else is
I
new?
mean,
I'm used to it.
I don't think anyone's picking on you.
I know. It was a joke.
All right. Okay. And he says telepathically to Sponge, who then passes it on to the rest of you. Poops says he thinks there's something ahead.
Something fun?
Sorry, there were two of you there, Henrietta and Henrietta. What did you want to say? Then
Just-
I'll ask Yoni.
I'm just saying friend or foe.
It smells like other Quotoa.
Same question.
Javelin.
Friend or foe?
You can't tell from this distance. It's also worth noting that to the extent that there is a bit of a current, it seems to be going your sort of upwind, essentially. Is that the right direction? It's going away from you, so it's not carrying the scent toward you.
We're swimming with the tide.
Yes. So it's
Also,
diffuse,
I'd like
but
to say that
but
I
it's
would have
not like
been
super snow. Go ahead.
I would have said that I'm keeping light cast on my shield that I'm sitting on. So
Okay.
I can see.
Yeah. So as you're swimming, it's not in front of you. The shield is it's projecting primarily below you. You can see a little bit ahead of you, but it's you're getting a great glass bottom boat view of the little tunnel you're in, and it's full of sand and a few crabs and some other things that you would normally expect to find. There's some strange glowing mushrooms and things that look like some polyps or
Are there
anemone.
pearls?
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Oh
and I
my
keep an eye out for
god!
pearls.
Oh, there are pearls. Well, I don't know if there are pearls just sitting on the bottom, but there might be an oyster or two. You
Can
can
we
certainly
look for
check for
oysters?
pearls. It'll take you a very long time if you want to search every square meter of this place for pearls.
Well, I will help. So the more people, the less time.
Poops is
Yeah.
looking at you like, are you seriously going to search the whole place?
Not the whole place, but maybe like a
I
little
mean, can
bit.
I see like if there's oysters, like a cluster?
We have miles to go before we get to the Dark Lake.
Maybe
It's going to
using
be like
passive
this all the
perception?
way. Okay,
We'll
so you
just
can
keep
use
an
passive
eye while
perception.
we're.
Or Mira would like to cast
Yeah, I'm using passive
magic.
perception to see if there's any obvious.
Mm-hmm. Okay, sounds like everybody's got the same idea. If you want to be active on it, it's like all the usual rules. You're going to have your movement, which is already halved. So you'll be swimming at like 15 feet or 7 feet or something, unless you are using your action to dash, which you can do, but not continuously. If you want to
But
just
I'm
use your passive,
being,
that's fine.
but what if because I'm not actually actively moving, I'm being towed.
Yes, you don't have to do it because Poops is basically at half speed while he's towing you. The rest of you are swimming on your own power, though.
I'm just gonna use my passive. My passive is 17, so I guess that's better than most of my rolls.
Yep. Okay. Well, it should be half, right? By definition. Okay, so you guys are swimming through the tunnel. Poops stops. If you guys want to do one roll each, tell me what your rolls are. If you guys are doing passives, it'll take you a little bit more because you're not going to stop for everything that looks like it could be a bivalve, right? Or a mollusk, right? You're going to stop for something that looks like it's big enough to actually have a pearl that's got to be, how much is it again?
100.
In value? 100 gold pieces. So 100
I
gold
think
piece
so.
pearl is going to be pretty sizable if you're thinking about it, right? Remember, a gold piece is not a dollar. A gold piece is like $100 or something. So it's a pretty valuable pearl. So you're not going to just stop for every mussel and every clam that you see. Did anybody get over a 20? Naturally or passively or actively?
Oh, did we roll?
Got perception. I haven't
If
rolled
you
yet.
if you own the only person who can actively use their perception without slowing down the party further is Orla, because she's being towed by Poops and Pool. The rest of you
Yes.
can rely on passive.
And I
Nah,
You got one?
man. I don't.
rolled
Sorry.
an 11.
Oh. Okay.
Why is it so
So
hard?
I mean, I rolled a 5.
Yeah.
Then I got for a total of
Where are
11.
you guys rolling?
I'm not seeing it either.
Neither am I.
I don't
It's
see it
probably
either.
because Roll20 is being weird. So I'm gonna restart Roll20.
I got a red.
But I mean,
as well. So that's fine.
Yeah. So, but trust me, it was an 11. I'm not lying about that.
No, I believe you.
It isn't too great.
I
Oh my
wouldn't think
god, I
you would
rolled
lie.
a 20, 21.
I wouldn't think you were lying regardless, but you're not going to lie about about an 11, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so you don't find something that looks promisingly large enough. There may be some things that are. This is a freshwater environment, so it's not exactly the same. It's more to it's probably more fair to say it's freshwater, but a little bit brackish. You think you could probably drink it and survive, but there's a hint of salt and minerals in it naturally. You don't think that there's necessarily the same kind of flora or fauna necessary to support really large mollusks easily, at least in this particular part of the cave system. Poops has pulled up. He says he smells something. He's not sure what to do next.
What did you smell?
Well, he told you he smelled what seems like his people, but he's not sure who they are or how many there are. It just kind of comes and goes with the, with the ebbing of the water as it moves around.
Can you speak to them, like via sponge?
So the way
sends them.
Sponge's telepathy works is he has to basically expel spores into the air, and the targets have to go through the spores, inhale them, and absorb them, and then he is able to form a telepathic link. So his sporing capability in the water is going to be significantly reduced in terms of both range and power. The telepathy is fine once it's established, but you'd have to be on the surface again for the sporing to work properly. Plus, you can't see anybody right now.
Sorry.
Okay.
Let's approach with caution, but not attack immediately.
Works for me.
Maliborn slowly slinks back. He just swims slower than everybody else. Do you guys have Maliborn on a tether of kind? Like a
Mira is going to swim next to Maliborn.
like a surfboard tether attached to his ankle.
One of those hold your child tight wrist thingies.
Yeah, exactly.
Those leashes that you see at Disneyland.
Yep.
Pack with the leash. Yeah.
Oh, I'd definitely get one of those. All right. As you move forward, go ahead and move your tokens. Feel free.
I think I'm
Which
gonna
way
go to
is
there
forward?
and have my javelin ready.
Is Poops and Pool swimming? Because I'm relying on him to swim forward.
Well, he's reluctant to be first. Let's put it that way. You've already gotten it out of him that it wasn't exactly his decision to leave. So, he can't guarantee that he's going to get a welcome.
If we stay behind Cracker, would you be okay with swimming a bit behind?
Yeah, he'll do what you tell him to do. He just would prefer not to be first in line because he's seen what happens when people get up against you, and he doesn't think he could stand up against you. So it's obvious that he doesn't consider himself a combatant the way you guys are.
Moxie
okay.
and
I like to stay back anyway.
Yeah, I tell Moxie to get behind me. She's not a fighter. Unless she's got some magical song.
Not at this level.
Moxie turns into a mermaid.
Yeah.
Siren.
Right. Suddenly starts calling herself Ariel. Rebecca, you can. Yeah. Very good. Was that you, Susan?
No, that was Mira.
Okay.
She beat me to the punch.
Very good.
Should've
Rebecca,
stayed
you
aboard.
can move. You should be able to move Poops as well. So you go ahead and move Poops and your token wherever you want.
Okay, so we're kind of behind.
Is Malibor
But also
moving?
I'm getting the red warning again, which
Okay, I'll move you. You want to be in the back, close to the back.
yeah, closer to the back, and but I mean obviously not in front of the bards. Oh, sorry, the bard, singular. No.
Okay.
I mean I
Yeah.
want to be in front of the bard, but like I want them, the bard and the wizard behind me.
Okay. Well,
Still
as you
in the
move
front
through
there,
the
so I'll
tunnel
just go there.
system, eventually, so Cracker's up front. Eventually, some fronds part, and you do see a few creatures that look like Poops. A bunch of these guys, and in the back is a really wild-looking one.
Oh my god, I know where that picture is from.
That's a Murloc.
Yeah.
Quiet,
Exactly.
quiet.
I can just hear the sound it makes in my mind.
Yeah.
I already did when
Alright,
it
well,
popped up.
okay.
I was like, ugh.
I can change the image.
No, that's fine. I'm just like, oh,
That's awesome.
it's
Christ.
a
Outed all the
crazy,
World of
it's a
Warcraft
crazy fish
players.
person.
You know, fuck
Oh my
this.
god, I've never seen that before.
There you go.
Aw.
Can you show
That's
it
such
again?
a crazy
Because
picture.
it didn't
No.
like open for me.
No. Nope. Nope. It never existed. There's no evidence of it whatsoever.
Now we're going to get sued by Hearthstone.
Yeah, shh. Who, what? Who, what? Okay, so that's the guy that you see first. And the guy who looks like he's in the back there, a little bit more aggressive, is this fellow. All right.
All right.
He's got the little guys up front. They don't look quite as impressive. Their fins are smaller. They look like very skinny. They look like skinnier versions of Poops. They're all greenish. The one in the back has really angry red fins. And although he's also skinny, he's really wiry and he's got way more weaponry on him. And Poops shrinks behind Orla.
Mushroom friend?
Sponge says, Poops says they want to know why you're here and have brought back the insane exile.
Great.
I love this for us.
Can you ask?
They're getting angry. They want an answer.
We are bringing back a prisoner.
There's a whole slow translation effect here. And Poops goes, he looks at Sponge, and Sponge says, do you really want him to say that?
No, maybe not.
He doesn't
No.
want to say it. But he'll do it if you force him.
If he doesn't want to say it, he doesn't have to say it.
Can you ask why he was exiled?
Because he's
Ask what he
insane!
Well, we don't have time for that now. They want an answer.
We could say that we need to go someplace and we seek their wisdom, and in exchange we'd like to do them a favor.
After Sponge translates, Poops looks at Orla and he shakes his legs vigorously. He shakes his head vigorously and starts speaking to them. And they part ways and move aside. Poops moves forward.
Is it wise to owe them a favor? We have no idea what they're going to ask.
I mean, I was the one who promised it, so if anything goes wrong, I'm just the one who owes them a favor, right?
I think you used the pronoun we.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Be
but
hanging.
or all I was talking in the royal we. She was talking about. Oh, she was just talking about poops and pools and herself.
You presume that they use the
That's a
same
we.
pronouns that you do. They let you past. They let you pass, and then you get past, and you find yourselves in front of what appears to be a murky, swirling undercurrent of water. Before the entrance, you are greeted. Oh, yeah, mine went red.
Yep,
Did you guys
mine
see
just
this guy?
fine.
I do.
Okay,
I
so
don't.
there is a fellow who
I was
looks like
sufficient.
Poops, but he's got all kinds of bizarre clothing and trinkets. He's got first of all, unlike Poops and all the other ones you've seen, he doesn't look flabby like Poops or wiry like the other ones. He looks almost like the equivalent of a corpulent humanoid. If this was a first surface dweller, somebody say from the civilization of Chult or even Faerun, you might think of him as somebody who's wealthy and higher status because he could afford to eat more. He has a number of items dangling from his body around his neck, on his wrists. They look like possibly jewelry, little bits of shells, bits of coral, things that glint and gleam like jewelry, possibly. He's carrying a staff that has on it some sort of gold bit of statuary, and he seems like he's a much more impressive person. He casts a spell, and suddenly you can understand him. Poops and poo. Why have you returned? You were exiled for your insanity. Poops responds, favor. Yes, we can do a deal. We can trade. I will need valuable things, though. This is a great favor if you want to get to this library. First of all, I will need all of your valuables. And he goes to each and every one of you, and he picks out one item. He demands the cheese.
I
Not the
reluctantly give
cheese.
up the cheese. I reluctantly give up the cheese.
Anything but the cheese.
Waggle my eyebrows because I still have the royal one.
And he comes over to Cracker. He sniffs Cracker, including her armpits, and he goes, "This smells good. You also have cheese."
Reluctantly.
He takes both the fake and the real cheese. He also asks for the jewelry that Violet is wearing.
The ring?
He points to the lantern dangling from her horn.
Aw. Gonna give it to him.
He immediately tries to dangle it on a part of his body, and he doesn't find a spot, so he just sort of hangs it on his forearm like a purse, and he admires it.
Looks great.
Thank you. Does it do anything? Is it magic?
Well, that's for you to find out.
Exciting. he looks at Maliborn and he sees that Maliborn has been. He looks at Poops and Maliborn and sees that they're both tethered. And he says, "These are your slaves. We will need your slaves as trade."
And was Maliborn
Oh boy.
tethered?
Wasn't he tethered to Mira?
Oh, she's just swimming next to him.
One of you will have to be sacrificed.
Excuse me?
Sacrificed how?
Usually
Like-
by dismemberment and disembowelment.
I have a
The-
toy lizard. You could dismember him.
No. The goddess Blip Doodle Boop needs a live sacrifice.
Why?
And when you ask why, he throws his arms up and starts swimming around in a circle. The other ones that you met earlier start coming over, brandishing their weapons threateningly. This is how the goddess is worshipped. It is how it's always been.
Doesn't sound like a nice
Maybe
goddess.
we could find a compromise. We could get you more cheese.
You can give us sacrifices. In fact, if you wish, you could just find them within the village. My daughter. Children. I've spawned 10,000 children. Everyone a disappointment. And he looks at Poops. She follows a false god. She seeks to take my position. Wipe out their heresy. And we will find the sacrifices amongst their number if they choose or refuse to convert back to the true stream.
And I just ask, what god do they believe in?
Something called Limo Gugu.
Can you spell that?
Don't insult them.
Oh, here we go.
Don't cause an incident.
I think she already did again.
Orla has some experience about that.
Close am I to her? Can I clamp my hand over her mouth?
Yeah. And he casts a spell and says, "Silence!" And Mira is suddenly silent.
Out
Mira
time.
gives him death glares.
Also-
And
I want
she can,
to-
let's just say she can still talk with her hands, and there's one finger she really likes using.
Yeah. Sorry,
Um,
somebody else wanted to do something. Rebecca?
She's
Yeah,
pulling a France
can
at
I-
Eurovision.
No, I would like to look at Delin and kind of move my fingers towards my head.
Mm.
I create a mind link.
So how about we say that we are going to sacrifice his daughter so we can actually get to daughter and to land, and then we could maybe help her or something.
Yeah, I just feel that I'm pretty tired of being everyone's assassin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but do you want to fight these people in the water?
I don't want to fight anyone. I just want to go to the library. I'm tired of fighting everyone else's battles.
But I feel like in order for him not to kill us, we have to promise to kill his daughter.
Yeah, we can promise that and just leave and find our own way to Graven Hollow.
Also good plan, but yeah, definitely agree right now so that we don't have to, fight them now.
Yeah.
When I say, well, let us travel to your village and then we can talk further about the conditions of our trade.
No.
No?
Passage is conditional. You said you would go do us a favor.
Yeah, but I can't do the favor here.
You can agree to it.
Yes, I agree to it.
Defeating my daughter and turning their followers back to the true sea goddess.
Yeah, I agree to that.
Okay. And
Gra
you
points
see
at
a
her
little
mouth.
tunnel. You see a little tunnel that opens up underneath the magical mist. And he says, follow me. And he waves a fin in your direction, and you all swim down. And that's where we're going to stop this week.
Well, Ola isn't a lawful
Sorry?
person per se, so she can lie. Who did the clapping?
I did.
I'm lawful evil, so I don't care if we lie.
But I feel like lying about.
Copyright.
I feel like lying about like, killing someone is not a bad thing,
True.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Copyright, people.
I
I
feel
mean,
like this
Maliborn is from a
went
race
extremely well.
of. What could possibly go wrong now?
Nothing.
It's better than fighting them, right? In the water?
True.
We don't know.
Someone agree with me, please.
Well, their city might be
I agree.
underwater. Where we are going to, his daughter might be underwater. We don't know if they live underwater or not. They're fish people.
Or maybe this is a Spring Revolution kind of thing where we side with daughter and kill him.
Yeah, I just
Just find out if she sacrifices stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, we
what's
are on the
worst that
side
could
of the
happen?
person who doesn't sacrifice.
This is just going to turn out
But
to be the
also,
plot of the Little
like,
Mermaid.
I think Poops would have mentioned if his village was underwater and we were gonna stay underwater the entire time.
Would he? He's literally insane.
Oh,
Or is he so insane that
I mean,
he's
compared
actually
to
normal?
them,
Yeah.
he's the sane one. Yeah,
I
insane
mean, he's
is
insane
just
to the guy
deviation from
standards who
normal.
like sacrifice people. So
Yeah. I know I'm not the most, well, I'm not a very good person, but I'm not that evil that I just want to kill anyone for anything. It has to be.
Yet.
Okay, I can kill people in self-defense, but just doing it to get the direction of girls, I think that's a little bit unfair, to be honest.
¿Dónde está la biblioteca?
No,
Yeah.
I'm not going to give you a direction. You have to kill that person and that person.
Good officer, I needed to go to the library.
Yeah. Ola. Yeah, Ola's definitely wasn't serious when she agreed to them.
No. And I feel
mean,
like we
you
have,
did steal the clothes of a dead body, so I mean,
yeah, and we made some bad choices by not actually knowing what we agreed to before, like with the were-rats, where we figuratively
Oh yeah.
committed to genocide.
Yeah.
Basically just did yes.
So kind of figure out what we are dealing with first before we agree to anything.
Well,
I
to
mean,
be
you
fair, you
already-
didn't
But
actually
we had to
kill the
agree.
rats. You
No,
just got rid of
but
their lycanthropy.
yeah, well, they are all going to die out eventually.
I mean, humans are going to die out eventually.
But
If you see it like
but
that.
here we had to agree so that they would let us pass, right?
True.
There are 5 of them. I mean,
We could have turned around, said no deal.
turn around.
Bright eyes.
Every
I mean,
now
one of
and
them
then
cast
fall apart.
silence.
Everybody but Yvonne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's too tired. Poor thing. I wouldn't be singing either if it was like 8 o'clock.
I literally woke up singing.
Still
right,
wondering which
folks.
song you were singing.
It's too late to apologize. It's too late. Okay, on
Let's
that
make
note,
that the
for
outro song,
real.
just you singing.
Yeah, exactly.
I
Everybody-
can like edit it into a loop.
No. We're not doing me on a loop in falsetto. That is not the way we're gonna go.
You're going to
I
start
think-
harmonizing it.
I
So
think we'd be down to
different
like 2
pitches?
subscribers at the end of it.
People would love it.
I'm gonna go and listen to the rest of the recording to see who actually did what.
Oh my god, he's dead.
Please let us know who you agree with.
Yeah.
True.
I'm saying that like anyone would agree with Mira, but yeah.
Okay, folks. Great session. Thank you very much again, all of you, and hope you all have a lovely week. And I'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
You.
Bye.
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 Bye.